conflict. It is about Elon. I don't know if you saw that he's being sanctioned by the EU for propagating
Yes,
disinformation,
I saw that.
which is kind of cool. I think it's kind of
Or,
interesting.
or warned, right?
Yeah, it's warned. It's warned to be fined. It's if he had 24 hours to put a stop to it, I believe, and if he didn't, then there would be then he would be fined, or at least there would be some sort of sanction. Which is interesting. I just couldn't believe that the EU has that kind of those kinds of laws, actually, because we're in America, and not that we're no bastion of corporate governance, but I was just surprised at how swift that comes into play, because we always talk about that. We talk about how the U.S. is so behind when it comes to we're behind when it comes to tech. Like it's like whenever some tech giant gets brought up in front of Congress, it's like who's older kind of game. It's like talking about Napster and like things that happened 33 years ago with the advent of like the modern internet. And so I was just impressed that the EU had laws that were just so up to date, where it's like, okay, you're a social media platform, your a large number of your user base is basically sending out information that is fake, and it could be injurious to some sort of world event that's going on right now. You now have to take action in order to stop it. I could never see a law like that passing in the U.S.
Do you think it's specifically like a social media law?
It might not be. It might not be.
Doesn't Germany have something where they govern how you talk about World War II?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. They do. But you can't like promote Nazism and things of that nature. But I don't believe that this is what that is. I don't think that's what this is coming under. I think this is coming under some sort of.
Well, I'm just saying that there at least there's something similar where they have this level of censorship, and
right. I hear what you're saying.
And I don't know. And my point is like, well, if they have that, maybe they have other stuff, and I do not know.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not as surprised, because they do at least have that. But again, that's Germany. That's not all of the EU, right?
That's what I was getting at. I was like, this is the mix of a number of nations that have this accord. I mean, I was surprised. If you're not surprised, that's fine. But that makes sense. I mean, your reasoning makes sense for why you wouldn't be so surprised. But I was the swiftness, the quickness with which they were sort of after him. I was a little like, whoa, that's serious business. I mean, of course, he takes nothing for as serious, because he's a man child, and also like has more money than maybe like 3 of the EU countries put together. But it was he was very tongue in cheek about his very cavalier about his sort of. It was basically like, prove it. It's like, if my platform is promoting disinformation, prove it. I will say this, that in terms of the not having to prove it, it is widely known that I believe when Elon took over, he gutted a lot of the watchdog like departments within Twitter, now X, that were supposed to be monitoring this sort of thing. I think that they were, a lot of those people were let go, either that or they left with his declaration of get. It was like, what was the ridiculousness? It was like, be prepared to be abused, basically, without having to quote him exactly. I'll just say that. Be prepared to work more hours than your pay is commiserate to your pay, basically. So who knows how all those departments left, but there's a sizable chunk of them that are no longer in operation, and people were pointing to that as a reason for why so much disinformation has been allowed to surface on X. But I will also say this: wasn't his whole "you have to pay to be verified" thing supposed to be cutting this back? Was it supposed to be stamping out a lot of disinformation? Apparently, because it's so cheap to get a blue check mark now and anyone can buy it, it is given validity to a lot of accounts that are spreading fake information.
Why would that have stopped anyone?
Well, he said that. He was saying that. He was saying that it's going to help verify and stop bots and basically make sure people are who they say they are. That was the whole point about paying for the blue check mark. And instead, all it's done is basically watered down the value of the blue check mark, because before you had to go through a ridiculous onerous process of being a public figure, being well known, having X number of people following you, it's yada 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 to get the blue check mark. Now, because anybody could just make an account, pay the fee, and be a blue check mark, it's made it much more difficult to say what's the difference between Jake Tapper and like Jake Illinois, with an account, somewhere out in the Maldives saying that I don't know, whatever's fake, just basically information that is just not reliable or transparent or valid with regard to, especially in an emergency situation like what you have going on between Israel and Palestine at the moment.
So yeah, actually, I looked it up too. It's the EU's Digital Services Act. It went into effect on digital online platforms.
Yeah,
August 25th, 2023.
Okay, so they're on it.
Super
so this
new.
Is specific to the internet. I would say that's impressive legislation. It
aims to create a safer digital space.
So I mean that's funny. You were going to be
security.
Like, is this a World War II like holdover? And it's not. It's actually someone being proactive and trying to legislate for the modern age. That's wild. Good on them. Honestly, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Elon doesn't feel that way, but Elon's going to eat it. I'm sure he'll survive.
Looking to make an example of someone.
Yeah, but we all know that there's no price tag high enough to basically make a billionaire squeal. On almost any level, there's a number of examples that you could throw out. But how much could you possibly find Elon Musk to make him say, "Oh man, my bad, terrible on me"? I mean, maybe a little because of how much debt X has taken on. So maybe you could, maybe in this particular instance, it might hurt his pocket, which maybe that's what the EU's getting at. Maybe that's why they're like, we'll make an example of you because we know you're highly leveraged and probably on the verge of having to cry uncle with regard to how you've mismanaged this platform. So yeah, maybe that's what's going on there. Who knows? But that was a little bit of interesting news. I thought that was with regard to the old Muscovite.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see how he squirms out of this one, and I'm pretty sure he will. But I guess we could dream. We could dream it for the moment.
Exactly. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Follow this space.
Yeah, we'll keep on this charge.